Okay, so I've had a very challenging morning, and I feel like my challenging morning will help someone who is going through what I'm going through right now. So, as everyone knows, Dylan, my sweetheart, is on the spectrum, what they call the spectrum. They call it autism or other stuff. I just say Dylan is Dylan, and Dylan wants what he wants, and he does what he wants, and he does how he wants to do it. If they call that autism, they call that autism. So, right now, I have been, and not even right now, since he was diagnosed when he was 3, which in hindsight I should have waited, but he's been getting services. He's in the district 75, which is for kids with special needs and stuff. And I hate that term special needs. I like the term just requires more. This requires more attention. They're not special, they just require more attention. And because special, when people say it like that, it's a spell word. It doesn't mean that they are like, oh, super. It means that they're off. And I don't like that. So it's like he just requires more attention. He requires more planning. He requires more. But I digress. So I finally got him approved for Medicaid, and now the services that he needs outside of school is starting to come into play. So yeah, so no one tells you what you go through. No one tells you what you go through with this. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going through. And hopefully, honestly, this is the first time. I hope it's just me that's going through this. And this is not like a systemic issue on how this is done, because I've been not arguing with people, because no one argues with me, especially when it comes to Dylan. But I have been going back and forth with agencies. I had to change a case manager on his case. I had to get the VP of blah 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 and the assistant VP of blah 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 involved in the scheduling and coordination, because I had people calling me that I'm like, calling me in the middle of the day, like I don't have a full-time job, right? And I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, first of all, you're supposed to schedule calls. I'm a scheduler by trade. You're supposed to schedule calls. You're not just supposed to call me on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Like, I'm just not doing anything. I was like, who? And then I found out Dylan's case, who I had set everything up with to start on the weekend, this weekend, and all that other stuff. I sent her a welcome email from me and the clan. I did all that other stuff. And all of a sudden, some dude on Wednesday calls me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon talking about, oh, what is your son's information? I'm like, first of all, who are you? And then he's like, oh, I'm so and so from blah blah blah. And I'm like, who are you? I don't know. I already set something up with this agency. They didn't tell me I was going to be dealing with multiple agencies, which isn't the issue, because I schedule for a living. So it's like, that's not the issue. The issue is no one communicated that to me. Does that make sense? And then what I'm starting to notice is it's a communication issue. It's a communication issue that no one's talking, and everybody's just moving, and everybody's like this, and nobody's like, okay, what is the protocol? What is the structure? So I'm like, no, I'm not giving you, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I'm not just giving you my son's information. So he got the VP of the place where sent him, and come to find out, they moved Dylan's entire case to a different agency and never notified me. And I'm like, are you insane? Like, you have. And then I started losing it, but I lose it my way. My way of losing it is not like F bop bop bop. I do that offline. When I'm talking to them, it's so professional, it makes them worried. That's why most people don't like sparring with me, because I don't curse once. I don't do anything. I curse here, but I don't curse at them, because what I don't want is for them to be like, oh my God, she's crazy. Oh, oh, we can't deal with her. So I am as professional as possible. I need you guys to understand that when you call a city agency, any agency, any place you call, the minute you start getting nasty, not nasty in a professional way where you're like, this cannot happen. And then you start making them, you start being the mom where it's like, you should know better. I'm disappointed. You understand? You speak like that. You do not start throwing F bombs here, S bombs here. You don't do that, because what ends up happening is they shut their ears off. Do you understand? I've had people call my agency and my office and they start yelling at me, and I explain to them, ma'am, I am not here to be yelled at. I'm not here for you to curse at me. If you continue, I am going to hang up and you are going to remain with your problem. Does that make sense? So when you are calling these places, because it's going to happen, if you're watching me, they made you watch this video, especially if you're watching the long form video and not just a clip, you are going to either go through this or you're going through this now. Do you understand? And what I need you to do is, and I know a lot of people like chat GBT this and chat GBT, oh, it's no good. Use it for what it is and be careful how you use it. That's it. You need to get in there and find out exactly what you need to write in an email, and tell them exactly what you want written in the email and what the issue is, and they will type up a professional, well-rounded, well-documented email that you can send to them. I have too much moving parts. I have too many. You're going to have, especially if you're going to do self direction. My self direction hasn't even started and I'm stressed out. You understand? And on top of it, I can't eat ice cream or bread. I can't eat ice cream or bread. Come on. Like, so I feel like either someone's trying to fortify me or break me. I don't, and they might be one and the same, but I digress. Anyway, so I'm like this. You're going to have to do this. So you need to know how to do it, and you need to know what you're entitled to, because they do not tell you what you're entitled to. They don't. They told me he has an HHA worker. No one told me what the acronym meant, so I had to look it up. And it's a home health aide. So I'm like, okay. So no one told me what a home health aide does. So I'm like, okay, so what do they do? And then when I'm asking the coordinator what they do, she kind of gave me a roundabout, not quite sure answer. So these people, I need you to understand something. Thus far, what I'm seeing, these people have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. And I do not believe that they see that this is an issue, because not enough parents know exactly how to do this. I keep saying to Jaden, I do this for a living and I'm having a hard time. I can imagine someone who has a language barrier, who really doesn't know how to read or write English. And it's like, this is bad, and it's like, honestly, I think this is the stuff we should be protesting. This is the stuff that needs to be called out, being like, yo, you're servicing the most vulnerable of our population and you guys can't get your scheduling straight. This is a problem. So then I'm emailing people, and we have a whole list of what needs to be done and how it needs to be done and all that other stuff. So if you are going through this, it's not just you, it's a systemic issue and it needs to be addressed. And do not just go back and forth with the coordinator. Do not go back and forth with any low level employee. Do not. I work in the executive office of my agency. It is when you get the executive office that things get done. You going back and forth with an employee is not going to help you. You call, because I've had customers have an issue and call my office, and we have to figure out what's going on over there, and we deal with the employee because they're our employee. That's their employee. It is not your job to fix their employee. I learned that the hard way. It's your job to go to their boss and be like, look, this ain't working the way you believe it's working, or your worker ain't working the way you believe it's working. Like I told you, I had to have my case manager changed, because I'm like, these people are calling me, where the hell's the case manager? Aren't you supposed to manage the case? And then her boss is like, oh, she's aware of it. I told her, I said, being aware of something and managing it is two completely different things. What's her directive? What's the protocol that she's following? So I know what her protocol is. Because if her protocol is, no, the parents handle it, then she's not going to be handling anything. And then she was like, well, sometimes the parents like to do this and some. I'm like, I'm not asking you what the parents like to do and what they don't like to do. What's in your books? What's written? This is how I need you to talk to these people. Do you understand me? This is obviously this is happening to me for a freaking reason. So I'm here to teach you because I'm annoyed, tired, and I still haven't eaten. And it's probably like 1 o'clock right now. Do you understand? So if I'm going through this, I'm going to believe that I'm going through this so I can help you through this and tell you exactly what to do. Dylan is 12. He's been doing this since I've been doing this with people since he was 3. Do you understand? And I've had to coordinate PT, OT, speech, IP meetings, freaking, and I run my IP meeting. They don't allow these people to just give you stuff for your kids. You have to direct this. It's a lot of work. It is not an easy task. It is not something, it's a whole other job that you are not getting paid for. You're not getting paid for this. Half time, he don't even talk to me because he's 12 and he's a preteen and he thinks he's too cool for school. You understand? So it's like, you're not going to get the rewards that you need for this. People are not on your birthday, they're not going to fly you out somewhere pretty. You're not going to get anything for this. But you're going to know that if you leave the planet today, that kid is taken care of. Does that make sense? And honestly, this is not just for kids on the spectrum. This is for all children. Do you understand? Because all of it sometimes is a fucking thankless job. Do you understand? And I get why a lot of parents are like, fuck y'all, I'm not doing this. It's like I can understand why there are certain parents. I'm not one of them, but I can understand why there are certain parents that are like, I'm not doing none of this. I don't need to put all this effort in. These kids don't care. I do not. No, we're not doing it. You understand? I don't condone it, but I understand it. Do you understand? So when you're talking to these people, your IEP meetings, stop having them put goals that nobody's meeting. And no one has the I had to make them have strategies to get to the goal. I did this, I have an MPA. You understand? And it's a master's in public administration. So you have to have objectives and strategies to get to the goal. All they're doing in IP meetings is giving you the goal. So what I started doing in the IP meeting, they have to tell me how they're going to get there. Does that make sense to you? This is for someone very important because you're probably about to have your IP meeting and you are watching this. You need to go into that meeting and know what you want for your kid, know what's supposed to happen for your kid, and understand that these people work for you. You don't work for these people. They're not doing you a favor. They're getting paid from the government for this stuff. Does that make sense? This is not a fly by night thing. These people are getting paid. Do you understand? And some of them are getting paid more than you. And then they're just sitting around not doing anything. And meanwhile, you're not getting what you need, nor do you even know what you're supposed to get. And then they're like, well, what do you want to do? And you're looking at them like, I don't know. I don't do this for a living. You do. You're supposed to be telling me. They do not. They do not tell you what you need. What happens is you have to know what you need and tell them what you need. That's what I'm learning. And it is very bad because we don't know. Like, we don't do this for a living. This is what you guys do for a living. So what I do is I flip it on them. I'm like, okay, what do you have? I treat them like a restaurant. If I walk in a restaurant, they're not going to be like, well, what do you want? You're going to be like, do you have a menu? So that's what I asked them for. I asked them for what he's entitled to, how many hours he's entitled to it, and all this stuff. You have to be structured. If you are not structured, this is not going to go well. I'm structured and it's stressing me out. Does that make sense to you? I do this for a living and it's still stressing me out. Do you understand? So if you don't do this for a living and you're not structured, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a real problem, and you're going to just be getting stuff, and people are going to just be coming to your house, and people are going to be in, and you do not want just random energy in and out of your house. It messes with the ecosystem of your house. He's going to have OT, PT, speech, ABA, HHA, all that other stuff in the house. There's 5 separate entities entering and leaving and coming in and out of my house. So if they're not managed properly, it's going to get chaotic. Do you understand? Like I said, this might not just be for special needs parents. This can be for regular parents too. You have tutors and teachers coming in and out of your house. That's what's disrupting the energy in your house and in your own nervous system. Does that make sense? When other people aren't organized, it affects your nervous system because you have to manage that. And if that's chaotic, what the hell? This is already confusing. And then you don't know how to communicate. That's bad. So this morning, I get a phone call at 11 o'clock talking about, yeah, the aide was outside at 8. I was like, no one was scheduled to come today. And then she's like, well, we have them 8 to 4 today and 10 to 7 tomorrow. And I was like, no one even came up with those hours. I was like, what are you talking about? And it wasn't my regular coordinator. So this is something I need you guys to understand. Your coordinator that you talk to Monday through Friday is not going to be the same coordinator that you have on the weekends. You're going to have just a rando person calling you. So if something goes on with your case for the weekend, you're not going to get your normal coordinator. They don't work the weekends. Does that make sense? Like I said, this shit has to be happening to me so I can help you. So you're welcome, bitch. Anyway, so, and I say that with all love. But anyway, so that's something that you need to understand. So I'm at 11 o'clock, which she woke me up because I was working late last night. And I'm like, what? Like, no one's supposed to be here. And then they're like, well, I was like, okay, is she the normal person? Because if she was a normal person, I would say, okay, have her come back. I apologize, whatever. We got to fix this schedule. She's like, no, she's just a fill-in. I was like, first of all, you are going to be touching my kid. I don't want you do not want fill-ins coming in. You want a permanent person, especially if your kid is autistic. Dylan is the type of child that he has to learn to trust you. You can't just touch him. He's not going to like that. He's not going to like you in his personal space. So it can't be one random person on the weekend and he never sees them again. That's going to bother him because he's going to be like, yo, what happened to so-and-so? He had 2 people. One I had to fire and the other one just left without saying goodbye. That bothered him. It bothered him because he was like, yo, she came every day for like a month. Where is she now? No, she's nowhere to be found. That's not okay. That's not how you operate with, especially with autistic children, because they need consistency. Kids in general need consistency, but kids like Dylan need laser focus consistency. It has to be a routine and it has to be right, because if it's not, he will lose it. And I already told you he's a Libra, he will lose it. It's not balanced, it's not organized. I can't deal like this. And he starts to shut down and spaz the fuck out. Do you understand? And it's loud. It's loud. Does that make sense to you? So what you have to understand is you have to manage this and manage it like it's your job, because it is. It is. They are not going to sit here and hold your hand, because this is what I'm seeing. They're not going to sit here and hold your hand. But let me tell you something. When you start getting on them and being as professional as you can, and you let them know that I'm not a motherfucking game in this motherfucker here, so this is my kid. I don't care what you do with other people's kids. You will not bring this to over here, because people complain I curse too much. So I'm working on it, but they're pushing my nerves. You understand? So you have to make these people understand that no, we're not playing these games. You need to organize your agency better, so that this, and then if you have an issue, Call, find out who your council member is for your district. Who your council member is for your district. Find out who is the oversight committee for the district, for your district, for those type of services. Does that make sense? Because like finance, we have an oversight committee for the city council, and we get city council calls when a constituent is having an issue. Does that make sense? So if you're having an issue, I feel like a freaking public service announcement. If you're having an issue, we have very capable, very competent people in the city council that fight for you. And these people are not a game. The council members, they do what they do, their jobs, and they're very passionate about what they do. I'm impressed with our city council. Do you understand? So you have to know who your council member is and call their office. You can just Google it and you'll get the office. And if you have to call every day until it's resolved, call every day until they're tired of hearing from you. Do you understand me? That's how you do it. And then if you see that, okay, the city council ain't doing what they supposed to be doing, there is a agency called the Mayor's Office of People with, I always get the name wrong, people of special needs or disabilities, the Mayor's Office of Disability. There is an actual office, mayor's office for this. Call the executive office. Do you understand? It's in the Green Book. Google Green Book and you can find it. Do you understand? Because what's happening is someone has to hold these agencies accountable for their level of service. If they are not going to be held accountable for their level of service, they are going to give you garbage. Do you understand? Do not allow these agencies to tell you what you are going to get, who's going to do it, and how it's going to be done. They work for you. Medicaid pays them. Does that make sense? And it's coming out of your child's Medicaid. It's coming out of your, not even just their Medicaid, it's coming out of my health insurance. Do you understand that I pay into? So, no, you work for me. I don't work for you. I don't have to sit down and take what you give me. You work for me. I need you guys to get that understanding. They work for you. Do you understand me? So I need you, if you're having an issue and I can help, DM me, let me know what the issue is. And if I can help, I'll let you know what my advice is or whatever, or what agency to call or whatever. That's not bombard Keisha. Keisha doesn't want another job. Do you understand? Kim New York is not about that life, but I'm here to help because this is crazy. I haven't even eaten yet. This is crazy. All right. I love you guys. So I know this helped. Let me know in the comments your story. Like, do you have a kid, or whether they're special needs or not? Do you find that people need to be held accountable for their level of service? Because what happened? The death of customer service, boy, this is insane. So the saga continues. I love you guys. Stay blessed. Deuces, and I'm out.